gotta get comfortable. Sorry. Okay. I'm trying to get my tripod right, guys. Hold on. I want to see if my light is on the... I have to have my light on, but it's better. Did you see the orb already? Hello, hello, hello. If you're just hopping on with us tonight, tell us who you are, where you're from. I think I have a Kleenex. Always. My nose doesn't run until I go live, or it doesn't itch till I go live. If you're just hopping on with me and you're new here, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hold on, guys. I gotta check this message. Sorry. Good message. Oh, I ate cake earlier. I had cake in my tooth. There we go. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Oh, it might be too warm for the sweatshirt. I was just fine all day. Go figure. Hello, hello. I'm a little bit late. So we'll see who's gonna hop on with me tonight. Okay, while I'm waiting for a few people to hop on, I'm just gonna go over my notes real quick. Hello, hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Runny nose and dry lips every time I'm live. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hold on. Sorry. I was just moving something. I didn't realize that I didn't have it. Didn't have it covered up. Sorry. Usually I'm all together. Yeah. All right, there we go. Oh, well, our numbers went up, and then I must have scared everybody away trying to straighten up my blanket here. If you're just hopping on and you're new here, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello. Sorry, I just moved my tripod. Hello, hello. Anybody want to talk to me tonight? Or maybe it's just TikTok not letting anybody come through. Hello, hello. All right, well, I'll just wait a few more seconds and see if anybody's going to talk to me, and then I will get started. Thank you for the badge. I don't want to say your name. DiCaprio something. Hello, hello. Hey, Jen. Thank you for the badge. Hey, Wayne. How are you? Thank you for the badge. Long time no see, Wayne. I don't know if you were going to hop on tonight or not. How is everybody? Everybody's day? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that so much. All right, guys. Well, I was already a few minutes late, so I suppose I should just get going, huh? If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. Bear with me tonight. Hopefully I can keep my train of thought. I have a headache again. I've been extremely tired today. Mike, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Aw, thanks for the rose, Jen. Yeah, so we started a new thing. Every live we're trying to collect 20 roses. So there's our first one, although they didn't give us credit up there, Jen. I wonder if they will now. I don't know. I don't get to see it all the time. So like it comes and goes on my screen. I have lovely little hairs growing out right there that are annoying. Squirrel. Okay. Well, it looks like we're climbing. So Hey, how are you, Tara? I am doing well. It's good. It's warm. It beats the winter. Right? Of course, I miss all my grandkids and all my kids, but it's well. It was, what did we have? 78, 76 today. I think we were like 81 yesterday. I don't know. It definitely beats, like, my mom keeps calling, telling me all the snow and my dad that they're getting in Iowa. And I'm like, yeah, you can just keep it. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're climbing, so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. If you're new here, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm going to just give you a little bit of why I'm here. If you're new here, so Gary from Iowa, we're at in Iowa. Gary, thank you for the badge. I'm from Iowa originally, just curious. So I started my TikTok in March. Like I said, my name is Renee. Welcome. I live in California. If you're new here, tell us who you are, where you're from. Thank you for the rose, Tara. I appreciate that. And so I started my TikTok in March of 2024. Sorry, I've had a headache today, so my train of thought is not here. Thank you for the badge, Gary. And the reason I started my TikTok is because in September of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself. And that's when I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my spirit guides, or should I say I can hear them. They talk to me. And that's when they slowly breadcrumb me to my purpose, which is to help other people with their loss and their trauma. And so that's just a little bit of why I'm here. If you're not familiar with my story, so my husband and I were together for 32 years, and in that 32-year span, we were only apart for 2 weeks. And so when he left, I wasn't sure I was going to stay on this planet. I have to say it that way. Sorry, guys, have to watch what I say or they'll kick me off. And once I had decided I was going to stay here, I'm like, okay, I have to figure out how I'm going to heal myself, because my husband didn't leave me in a great spot financially. And so therapy was out, and I'm the circle that don't fit in the square. I'm the unique girl. And so I knew group therapy wasn't going to work for me either, but I'm like, okay, if I'm going to stay here, I have to figure out how I'm going to heal myself. Thank you for making, oh, you're welcome. Thank you for that. And so that's when I started out on my healing journey of, I deep dived into meditation, which before my husband passed, I couldn't even meditate right. I was a sucky meditator, but I deep dived into meditation. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Bess. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Glad to see you. Well, tonight's going to be a little emotional too. I'm just going to warn y'all here. Of course, I'm always the guinea pig here. And so my guide has me going to share a story, basically of some struggles that I've been going through. Believe in myself? Yes, always believe in yourself, because there's sometimes not anybody else. I love that song, by the way. Anyway, and so in that, like I said, I had to figure out a way to heal myself. So I deep dived into meditation and journaling, and the first message I ever got from my guides in meditation was, what heals you will heal others. And that was my first breadcrumb to discovering what my purpose was. And so anyway, so if you're new here, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you missed it, my name is Renee and I'm from California. Welcome. And so if you're not new here and you've been here a while, you've heard me talk a lot about anger and how the different stages of grief, anger is one of those, right? And I've been very, very vocal about that the anger part was the hardest part for me to deal with. And so the last couple weeks we had been, that kind of had came up because we talked about grief again, and I talked about a story about how I thought I dealt with all my anger and I was moving forward, and I have been doing pretty well. And so, of course, this morning my guide says to me, you know what you're going to talk about tonight, right? And I was like, no, what? And she's like, you're going to talk about some of the struggles you've been going through. because of course I'm the guinea pig here. So if you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. And so tonight I'm going to talk about some of the anger that's kind of come up the last couple days that I didn't realize that I had, some issues that I didn't realize I had. Okay, so let me back up just briefly and talk about. So when I say my husband didn't leave me in a great spot financially, I mean he didn't leave me in a great spot financially. I lost everything. Everything that we had worked for 32 years, just gone. And so I had nothing basically, and every possession, earthly possession that I had, they basically took from me. And so I literally had nothing. And the last 2 years, I've been to hell and back, pardon my French, is an understatement. And so basically, you know, my anger towards him has been the frustration of, is it Dana? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Aw, and the heart me. Thank you. And so in talking about the anger, a lot of times what was coming up for me was the frustration of being able to take care of myself. My husband was always the main wage earner. If you're not familiar with my story, I've always worked outside the home off and on between kids and things and after my kids, but I never really took care of myself. And so I've had to learn how to take care of myself. Teresa, did I say that right? Or Theresa? I don't want to screw that up. Thank you for the follow. Hi, how are you? Tell me who you are and where you're from. And so that's kind of where my anger stemmed, right? I was frustrated that I lost everything and that it was so hard. So now, fast forward to the last couple days, the last week. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. So what has come up for me has been, how do I want to say this? I apologize, and I apologize if I'm going to get emotional. So basically, like I said, I got over the guilt pretty quickly. The anger has been what has been kind of holding my process up. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Hi, watching from Pennsylvania, Widow too. Oh, well, welcome to my page, my channel. I don't know what it's called. Nobody will tell me. You're in the right place. And so, okay, so fast forward to this last week, and I've been dealing with a couple things actually. And I don't share this often. The day that my husband unalived himself, thank you for sharing the live, Carol. I appreciate that. I was the one that found him. And so I have that image in my head. And thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. And so that's not something that I normally talk a lot about and to a lot of people. And so I've really been struggling with that this last week. There's different times. I never know when I'm going to close my eyes and I see that image. And so I've been struggling with that, but mostly my guides wanted me to talk about this anger that has now recently surfaced that I didn't realize that I was kind of harboring, I guess you could say, for lack of better terms. Sorry, this is difficult for me. So basically the anger that I'm upset with him is that, okay, so we spent 30 years together, 32 technically. We were married for 30, but we were together for 32 years. And what I just realized, and I didn't realize it until I actually like said it out loud a couple days ago, is that I'm angry with him. But this time it's not because of the frustration of financial or all of the hardships that I've gone through since he's left. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But more so, I don't know how to say this. So basically, you know, when you become a wife and you start having a family, a lot of times the woman will put things in her life on hold, I guess is how I want to say it. And so that's what happened, right? Like I kind of lost me in the process of that 30 years. I think I missed a badge. I'm sorry. Okay, just making sure. And so what I realize is I'm angry about that. I'm angry that and I'm just going to say it because it's not going to probably make logical sense to anyone here. But for me, it's how I feel, whether it makes sense or not. And we've talked about that a lot, is it's okay for you to feel something, even if it doesn't make sense to somebody else or it doesn't make sense to the world, right? Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. And yes, yeah, I did feel like he abandoned me. That was one of the issues for sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up here. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. So I'm just going to say it. So I feel like, he took the best years of my life, right? And I pretty much give up the best years of my life for this relationship, this marriage. And then poof, one day he just obliterated it, for lack of better terms, right? Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. Just obliterated my life. And I know that he wasn't in a good headspace. I know all of this stuff, right? And like I said, it might not make sense. It's how I feel, whether it makes sense or not. I know that my feelings are valid, that he, I feel like he stole the best years of my life to just basically end it all, and that was something that I guess I didn't realize that I was still harboring for the anger part of it, is that I guess in a way I'm resentful, right? I'm resentful that I give him everything I had. I give him the best part of me, the best part of my life. And in a way, I just feel like he threw it all away, right? So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm trying not to get emotional tonight, even though I do know that it's an emotional topic. My guides like me to share these times and moments with everybody. I'm not doing this to get anybody's pity or for people to feel sorry for me. I'm here to let others know that, one, it's okay to have your feelings, even if the world tells you that that's stupid and that's not valid and that doesn't make sense or whatever it is, right? Your feelings are still valid. Yes, he did. And in a big way, he did disrespect me. And that's how I feel. Yes. Thanks, Wayne. I wasn't sure if I was going to hold it together or not. Thank you, Bess. Yes. And that's why I'm here. Like I said, yes, I know that I'm the guinea pig on this page, but I know my life is out there for the most part, but I'm doing that because if hopefully somebody will never have to go through what I went through, or if they do, then they know that their feelings are valid. And it's okay to feel what you feel. And also to realize, it's been a big realization for me too, that, maybe you think you have everything kind of under control, so to speak, or you have healed everything. Thank you for the badge, Wayne. I appreciate that. Thank you for the badge. Yoko, I'm not sure what your name is. And I lost my train of thought there for a second. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Sorry, I'm also very warm. I totally lost my train of thought where I was going with that, but so knowing that, maybe you think you've healed everything, but subconsciously maybe there's still things there hiding, lurking, I guess you could say, in the background that you don't realize, right? Because like for me, the whole time this anger's been about, I guess what you could say, suffering, right? Suffering through, financial difficulties and trying to take care of myself and not having the resources that I'm used to having for 30 years, right? And, oh yes, grief is many emotions, for sure. And we've talked about this many times, and so actually last week we had actually talked about grief. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to take the sweatshirt off. It is just way too hot. But so last week when we were talking about the different stages of grief, my guide also brought it to my attention. Give me one sec. Also brought it to my attention. So during the process of grief, I was going through last week, I was talking about taking responsibility for, some of my actions, and my behaviors before he had passed, and, I knew I wasn't, such a nice person at times, I guess you could say. But my guide made me realize after I had done those lives about, okay, Renee, so you've taken responsibility. And so that was the next thing too, is, okay, you've taken responsibility for your actions, your part in whatever loss, trauma, grief, whatever it is that you're taking your part in, right? Remembering to forgive yourself. Oh, it is. It is, Bess. It always is. You'll realize that these lives are just as much for me as they are for you most of the time. It's been huge in my process, for sure. Thank you for that. Thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. Forgiveness and grief is so complicated. Yes. But the thing is I've been so hard on myself about some of my bad behavior before he left, right? And my guide said, okay, and I talk about all the time, right, about to other people, about giving yourself grace and all of that, but remembering to give myself grace that, okay, I took responsibility for that. Now I forgive myself, right? I forgive myself for how I behaved. I forgive myself for the harsh things that I might have said or didn't say or implied or whatever it may be, right? So remembering to not only give others grace, but remembering to give yourself grace and that forgiveness. So moving forward, so this last week has been a bundle of different emotions, right? So discovering this anger that was kind of lurking there that I didn't realize that, I was resentful. Like I said, I guess is the best word. I was resentful that he took the best, what you would call the best part of my life, right? The best years of my life, to just implode it, I guess. There's no other way around it. And so realizing that, and then also, so I'm going to be really vulnerable here for a second. So, and so my husband had left me in an apartment that I was struggling to basically stay in. Okay. And, like I said, I'm not saying any of this for pity. I don't want anybody's pity. I want people to be aware, right? Like I said, be aware of how you feel and that it's okay to have the feelings that you have. So a lot of, most of the time I'm pretty good because I know kind of where I'm going, right? As far as, my guides, I know some of my future, I know my purpose, I know where that's all headed. And I apologize if I'm missing things in the comments. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Is it Pumpkin King? And I know I'm probably just rambling and talking in circles, but like I said, it's a little more difficult to talk about for me tonight. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you, William. I appreciate that too. And so, but most of the time I'm a pretty go with the flow, I follow my guides. Since I discovered that I had these abilities, my guides have said, okay, you're going to do this, right? Like I said, the very first step was, okay, I have these abilities. Okay, now they're leading me to my purpose. Okay, this is my first clue. And then, like I said, they slowly breadcrumb me. And then I discovered what that was. And then, eventually they're like, okay, you're gonna get online and you're gonna talk to people and this is what you're going to do, right? And then they started giving me messages, and you're like, you're going to start doing reels, and you're going to put this out, and it all just kind of came together. Kelly, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, okay. All right, William. But anyway, and so, like I said, it's just kind of been a process since my husband passed of, this whole journey, right? A healing journey and a journey of discovering my purpose and being online. And so I kind of just follow, right? I follow what my divine team, what the divine tells me to do. And I never know what the next step is. Usually I just follow, and I have faith that it's in divine timing and everything is going to work out how it's supposed to. But we are all human, and sometimes, if you're just hopping on, by the way, tell us who you are, where you're from, if you're new here. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota. Sorry, it's somewhere on my screen's bugging me. And so a lot of fear has come up for me this week, and if you look back on my videos and things that I've talked about, fear and faith don't go into the same category usually, right? You have to choose one or the other. You have fear or you have faith, right? They don't coincide. And because we do have an ego that likes to protect us, sometimes the ego will sneak in when you're, wanting to step out of that comfort zone and take that next step in life. And your ego says, oh, no, don't do that because you can't do this, or you're not good at that. Or sometimes it likes to put fear in there. Well, what if, right? Those what ifs in life, they like to get you, the what ifs. And sorry, typing from me too. I forgot to mention too, we are not shy here, so pipe in anytime. I just don't always get your comments. I apologize, because TikTok likes to censor comments for some reason, even though I don't have anything on. They like to hide them. Typing from Georgia, welcome. Glad to have you here. No, you're fine. Never apologize. You're good. And so the what ifs creep in, right? And sometimes those what ifs will overtake the fear. I am Kelly, and I'm from PA. You hate that I'm having fear. Please remember what you put out. Yes. And like I said, it's not a huge thing. It's just, yes, I know that. I do know that. It's just, I'm facing a lot of, I guess you could say, uncertainty in my life. So, I had decided to follow my heart, and I let my apartment go, and I moved to California, for those that aren't aware. And I don't usually do guests, maybe another night. I don't know what your name is, by the way. Do you have a name? And so I took a leap of faith, and I don't regret it at all. For the simple fact is that I have learned so many lessons about myself in this journey that I've been on for a month and a half since I left South Dakota. One, I learned that I could drive 3 states away and I was okay. I'd never traveled alone before without my husband, Bob. Maybe another night, Bob, but thank you. And so, hey, Hogan. I always want to say Haugen. I don't know why that's not right, but anyway, I see you. And so I've learned a lot about myself, right? I learned that I could drive 3 states away and with 3 pets in the car by myself. And I've learned a lot about that I am not the old Renee anymore, that a lot of things that the old Renee would have settled for or said, oh, it'll be okay, and just kind of settled, right? That I'm not going to do that. Jen. And so, yes, I've learned a lot about myself and a lot about this journey, and I don't regret it at all, because like I said, a lot of lessons that I think were remaining that I hadn't caught yet in the last 2 years, right? So if you're not aware, my guides have been preparing me for this new door. And so I've had a lot of lessons since my husband has passed. And I know I'm talking in circles. I apologize. But so the last 2 years, when I felt like I was stuck, I was no longer in the old world, didn't belong to the old world, but the new door wasn't open and a new chapter wasn't open for me yet. And so those of you that are new here, I felt stuck. And oh, thank you. I was extremely anxious. I should tell you, 3 hours into my 27-hour trip, because I took the long route to avoid weather and mountains. I called my daughter and I was like terrified. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And my daughter was like, she's so wonderful because she's traveled all over by herself. She's so brave. I love her for that. And she's like, Mom, what are you talking about? I'm 3.5 hours, whatever, into the trip for. And she's like, Mom, what are you talking about? You are doing it. You're doing it. You're not, how can you say, I don't know if I can? You are, I was doing it. And so, I did it. And that was a huge growing experience for me. And so what I was saying though is, so in the last 2 years, I felt stuck. And then finally one day my guide said to me, she said, Renee, you're not stuck at all. Thank you for the heart me. I must have missed that. I appreciate that. I did do it. Yeah, I did. And, she said, Renee, you're not stuck at all. And I said, I'm not. And she said, no, we're preparing you. We're preparing you for that next door. We're preparing you for that new chapter. And there was just so many lessons in the last month and a half that, I thought I got, but I don't think I really got them. And I really needed those lessons to go into the rest of the lesson. Does that make sense? Like, you get so many lessons, but it's like, okay, wait, but I'm kind of missing something here, right? And I feel like I kind of got some of those that, okay, I'm kind of missing that, right? Sorry. Anyway, I'm just babbling on tonight, but if you take nothing else from tonight, I want you to take that one, it's okay to, feel what you feel. And so if you've been through a loss or a trauma, and also if you have, feel free to write it in a comment here. Like I said, we are not shy here. This is exactly what my community is for. This is what we do here. This is what we talk about. So feel free to share if you feel like sharing, but just know that your feelings are valid was the first thing. And the second one was give yourself grace, not just everyone else. Show yourself grace and forgiveness. Know that it's okay sometimes that you're human and maybe you're having a little bit of anxiety or fear, even though, like I said, I know fear and faith don't coincide, but it's okay sometimes to slip and to be human. But just know, and that's one of the things, that I was also learned in the last 2 years. That didn't make sense, but what I also learned is that I'm learning to wrangle my thoughts quicker, right? So the old me 2 years ago, would have this fear or this anxiety, and I would let it overtake me for, maybe a whole day or days or weeks, right? And I'm learning to wrangle that in, and maybe a couple hours at the most now. Take my own advice? Yes, I'm learning. I'm slowly learning. That's why I'm here, because everything I put out for you comes right back for me. So yes, I'm the guinea pig here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I think I talked about everything I was supposed to talk about. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to share or talk about tonight? We've got plenty of time here. Has anybody had a loss or trauma? And then there was the one other thing too. Like I said, for making sure forgiveness for yourself. I think I added that. Sorry, I'm all over the place today, guys. Anybody? Okay, well, I'm waiting to see if anybody has anything they need to share or get off their chest today. I'm just going to do my little thing here real quick. If you're not aware, I do have a YouTube channel that is under Scorpio Medium. So if you do enjoy my lives, but if you miss one and you would like to catch up, you can go over to Scorpio Medium. I upload all my lives over there. Let's scoop. Okay. Also, we are shooting for 20 roses alive, guys. I think it just said 2. So if you guys want to shoot me a rose or some likes, I would appreciate that. But yeah, so if you're not a subscriber over there, I would love it if you went over there and subscribed. Thank you for the roses, guys. I so appreciate that more than you even know. And all the likes. I do see you guys. I do see that. If you're not familiar, I am here Sunday through Wednesday. I did not get on Wednesday night. That's kind of when some of my anxiety and my anger and my issues started to appear. So I apologize for that. I try to be as consistent as possible. But I really just needed a mental health night. And also, if you take nothing from tonight, know yourself well enough to know when you need a rest or you just need to take 5 and be like, nope, I just can't do that today. Right. But like I talk about all the time, it's okay to have a moment, okay to have 10 moments, 20 moments, just don't unpack and live there. Thank you for all the roses, guys. I do see them. I do appreciate that. Don't unpack and live there. So I am here generally Sunday through Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. I also do readings. If you didn't catch Scorpio Medium, I am a psychic medium. So if you would like a full reading, you can go down into the bio below and you'll find my email. If you email me, that's how I set those up. Also, you'll find I have a Venmo down below. If you would like to leave me a tip, if you enjoy my content and would like to leave me a tip, always appreciated, but never expected. So that's there. That's down there also. I cannot talk ever. Thank you for the heart, me, Kelly. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, nobody has anything they need to talk about? Anybody had a loss lately that they're struggling with or just need to talk? Anybody? That's what we're here for. Anybody? I'm assuming comments are coming through because I'm seeing some, but that doesn't always mean they all are. Anybody? It didn't record your rose again? Not shocked. I don't know why I'm shocked. My husband passed November 20th. Oh my gracious, a day after my birthday. Well, Nikki, if you would like to talk about it, that's what we talk about here, dealing with feelings of guilt and grief at the same time. I understand. So, let me have it, guys. Nikki, first of all, let's start with you real quick. So, how are you dealing? Are you dealing? Not dealing? How's it going? That's what we're here for. So we have a great community. And then Bess, yeah, that's hard. Just know if you comment to me, I will ask you questions. You never have to answer. You can always DM me after if you feel more comfortable. You're doing good, you think? Okay. Was it an expected passing? Expected, not expected? Well, just know if you're not doing good, that's what we're here for. It was an expected passing. Okay. But just know this is what we talk about here. This is what we deal with. So if you ever need anything, like I said, I'm here usually Sunday through Wednesday. We have been doing mini reads on Wednesdays. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue that or not. I'm going to talk to my mods about that and see. You miss him. Do you want to talk about just real quick, like, how are you dealing with it? Like, is there anything you're doing specific to help you deal? Just know that he's with you. This is from the medium side of me. He's always with you. The veil between us and them is very, very thin. And so anytime that you're sitting there and, you just start to think of him, he's sitting right next to you. And look for signs too, because they will leave you signs. A lot of times when they first cross over, they will come to you in their dreams, in your dreams. That's the easiest way when they first cross over. I can feel him and I talk to him a lot, and that helps. Yep. And that's what they want. You know, they don't want you to be sad, and they want you to, you know, talk to them and acknowledge that they're still there. I'm just listening. My sister lost her husband in February. She doesn't talk about it. I am so sorry. Well, let your sister know, you know, we are definitely here if she needs someone. You know, that first step sometimes, especially when it comes to a husband, in my case, it took me a week or two just to wrap my head around it before I could ever even consider dealing with it or talking about it, right? I just had to wrap my own head around what was happening. So definitely let her know that we're here, though, if, you know, need be. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Bess, are you still here? You want to talk about what you said about the guilt? Was it guilt and anger at the same time, or guilt and grief at the same time? Sorry. Dealing with guilt and grief at the same time. That's always fun. You're so welcome. Oops, crap. I'm hitting stuff. Sorry, guys. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. All of the above. So, do you want to talk about what are you doing to deal with those kind of things? Are you doing anything specific to help with that? If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. So I'm going to tilt this. That light just glares in my glasses. It drives me crazy. Thank you for the badge. You are dealing with it, though. That's the trick, right? You are dealing with those things. You're not just sweeping them under the rug. You're in Illinois, Lynn. Welcome. And just, Lynn, just know, just be there, right? Like, even if your sister doesn't want to talk about it, maybe just let her know, you know, I would say don't pry, just a gentle, hey, I'm here, right? If you need to talk about it or you need, you know, anything. And that's the biggest thing, right? Is when people say, oh, hey, if you need anything, let me know. You know, sincerely mean that. Of course, that's your sister, so you probably do. But just let her know gently that you are there, and, you know, if she needs to talk, you're willing to be there, if you are. That's the most important thing, is for her to know that somebody is there when she is ready to talk about it. Yes. Yes, you are dealing. Who is you? Well, who are you? I'm Renee. Welcome. Okay, does anybody else have anything else? My story is horrific. I'm going to have to message you. Okay, well, you are sure welcome to. That doesn't sound good, but you're welcome to message me and we can talk for sure. Just know when I get done with my lives, I get, usually I'm tired by that time, so I might not get back to you till tomorrow, but I will get back to you. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. It's all good? Okay. Anybody else? 717. Anybody? Whew, it's just warm in here tonight. It's usually not this warm. I am Sam. Actually like that book. Hope you have a great night. You know how many times I've read that book? I used to do daycare for like 20 years. I know that book inside and out. Now you have to figure out how to message me. Well, it's pretty simple. If you just go into what you would call my page, and it'll say message. And just click message and you can message me. And actually, are you following me? Let me, hold on a second. There, I just followed you back so I can find you. Worst case, I will message you in the morning. Okay? Yes, I actually have 4 children. But I followed you back so I can find you now. Well, I have my really good friend. Of course, she's not in person anymore because I moved to California and she's in South Dakota, but she's on here tonight. I actually have 2 friends on here tonight, her and Wayne. And they're usually just a phone call or a video chat away. And then my friend that I'm staying with now, and he's great too. So I do have a few people. Menopause brain is awful. Yeah, I understand. Right there with you. Then add fibro fog to it. It's fun. Dr. Seuss is great. Yes. Okay, guys. Does anybody else have anything else? Anybody? If not, I'm going to leave you. Okay, going once. Going twice. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all have a great night. 3rd night. What did I miss? Okay, well, I hope y'all have a great night. Remember to make tomorrow great because it is a choice. Tomorrow is Monday, which means it's a new day, a new week, a chance to start over. I don't even think I have any of those anymore. But yes, maybe I'll have to go visit the library. So I will be back here tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Like I said, remember to make tomorrow great. It's a new day, a new week, a new chance to start over. So on that note, until we meet again.